Yesterday, my friend Aisha was murdered by the Israeli occupation forces. Now her government is saying that they will ask her murderers for the facts. This is a betrayal and it's absurd. We know who killed her. The only people there with weapons were the Israeli occupation forces.
I just couldn't believe that someone would actually hold up a rifle, look through the scope, and look at her head, her beautiful face, and shoot straight to her head, even though intellectually we knew this was always a risk. We were scared, we retreated. They threw tear gas, and I've never felt tear gas before, and I'm sure Aisha Noor hasn't either. That was a shock to us. Then we heard, a few minutes later, some shots. We had never heard shots before. Someone shouted live ammunition. So we knew from our training that we had to run. We ran into the olive groves. We got behind an olive tree, and I was standing in the middle of the olive tree, so I had more protection than Aisha Noor. She must have put her head out to have a look to see what was happening. And then I heard a gunshot, and I looked, and she just dropped. And I called her name. I thought she just dropped out of fear, and I turned her shoulder over, and I saw blood on her left temple and blood from her nose, and her eyes were open and her eyes were rolled back, and I was in shock. I knew she was not there. Her eyes had glazed over. We were hoping that our presence would protect them, that international observation and documentation of what was happening might curtail their criminal behaviour. But no, it didn't. It didn't. And we know it's escalating across the West Bank. We know the genocide in Gaza is just the start of it.
It was her courage and initiative that brought us here. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have come. She was a very compassionate, caring person who was also very passionate about opposing colonization, opposing brutality, opposing the domination of people and the murder of people.
History will tell us there will be no accountability. We wouldn't be here if we thought the world was going to hold the Netanyahu regime accountable. We wouldn't need to be here. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of my government, I'm ashamed of US government, and I'm ashamed of the Israeli regime, that they would allow this ongoing persecution of not just internationals, but Palestinians. That's why we've come here, because we don't want to sit and wait for the world to do something about genocide.
The genocide in Gaza has to stop. The apartheid conditions that Palestinians live under throughout this land must end. The violence of the US state that it perpetuates and contributes to all around the world, including here, has to come to an end. And that's what she would keep fighting for if she were alive, and that's what she would want people all over the world to keep fighting for.
The occupation is unfeeling, and like countless Palestinians, they have ruthlessly stolen you from your friends and family. I won't say goodbye. Instead, I will carry you in my heart back home, and I will demand our government end their complicity in the deaths of thousands of innocent people like you.